Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at War of the Vikings. War of the Vikings is from Fat Shark and Paradox Interactive. It is the pseudo-sequel. Maybe, I mean, it's been described to us as basically like, it's not replacing War of the Roses, it's just, you know, a different time setting. There's some different mechanics involved, but War of the Roses is apparently still going strong with the community that very much likes that game, and I know that a lot of people prefer War of the Roses to War of the Vikings from people that I've talked to. I am not one of them. Here are the police coming to take me away for preferring this game to the other one, I guess. But in any case, I'll just talk over this. I don't live in a bad area. I promise you that, but one of the things I should disclose here right off the bat is that I have a very good relationship with Paradox Interactive. They have flown me to multiple events to look at games like War of the Vikings as well as their other catalog across the world, basically paid for accommodations, food, and stuff like that. And if that makes you think that my opinion is biased here, maybe you should watch somebody else's video. But I'm going into it with an open mind, and War of the Vikings is a game that I've actually spent a lot of time with over the past year or so, since I first saw it in, like, July of 2013, and I liked War of the Roses. I thought over time, originally I preferred it to Chivalry, but I thought over time that Chivalry grew on me better. I thought it was a more fun game and a little crunchier, like it actually felt like your hits connected, looked a little bit less kind of like just waving your hands around and people died. But War of the Vikings, I think, has kind of pulled me back over to the other side, and I may actually prefer this to Deadliest Warrior, but I played about 7 or 8 hours so far of the game across various stages of early access, including about 3 hours of the game since it came out yesterday or the day before, depending on when you're watching this. So before we get started here, there are 4 modes from what I can tell in War of the Vikings. There's Pitched Battle, which I think is probably the worst mode, but we may end up playing it. Your mileage may vary with these, by the way, and I apologize for the Steam overlay too. Team Deathmatch is your fairly standard Team Deathmatch with respawns. You can also revive people, but typically that is something that's not likely to happen. Conquest is like a control points style mode, which I'm not necessarily a huge fan of. And then there is Arena. Arena is by far my favorite mode, but it's probably pretty unlikely that we actually get into a game. I'm playing early in the morning Pacific Standard Time, so a lot of the servers right now are European, and they do have ping limits, and that is going to make it difficult to get into some of these games. You can see like 130 ping limit for Arena, 200 ping limit for Moscow. We don't qualify for either of those, but hopefully we will be able to get into a Team Deathmatch server. This one has no ping limit, so hopefully we'll be able to sneak in here and get some play happening. And it is one of those games, unfortunately that server was full, it is one of those games where, you know, your ping actually does matter a great deal. If you have a ping that is 200 ping limit, this is maybe a bad idea. As you can see, I just want to point out as I look for a server here, there are a lot of people playing the game, and it's one of those games that I think has a fairly strong fan base kind of the world over, if that makes sense. Maybe we can get into this Pitched Battle game. That'll be fine. We'll at least have a chance to do some combat, then maybe we can switch to another mode. Yeah, it's one of those games that has kind of a strong audience the world over. It's not just an American audience, it's not just a European audience, there's definitely both. And when I was playing last night at like 8 to 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, there were plenty of people in. But do keep in mind that, you know, this is the day after it came out, basically, and that could vary over time. So there's a couple of different classes that we have here, and I might as well take a second to talk about it because we have about 2 minutes maybe before the match will end. You start with only the default warrior, but you do get like coins and experience for leveling up, and in doing so you can unlock custom classes like Scum City, Hit It Very Hard, and Spearman, which are obviously custom named, and also the Champion and the Skirmisher. So if you want to take it as there's like 3 distinct archetypes, warrior is like your standard shield plus sword. Champion is like a two-handed axe or a two-handed hammer or something like that. They used to be called the Housecarl because this is set in like the, you know, the Norse invasions of England in like the 9th century AD. And Skirmisher is your ranged class, basically. So I have Scum City, which is my own version of the ranged class with a bow and an axe, which is basically exactly the same as the default Skirmisher, except I have a shield on my back and some extra perks. Hit It Very Hard is my variation on the Housecarl or the Champion, and Spearman is just my attempt to check out a different style. So I'm going to start with Hit It Very Hard, and we actually won that round, much to my surprise, because this is going to give you a chance to see some of the obvious melee mechanics of the game, which is obviously one of the major focuses. So, from like an aesthetic level or a superficial level, the game is the Saxons versus the Vikings, again, set during the Viking invasions of what was then England, or what is now England, I guess, during the 9th century. So in any case, mostly I'm talking about that because I'm like, I know that! I played the Old Gods in Crusader Kings 2, but in any case, Game looks good too, and I want to point out that I am recording this in XSplit, just due to some weird fraps complications on my end, so it probably doesn't look as good on screen now as it actually does to me. It looks very good to me. It looks like a noticeable upgrade on War of the Roses. Alright, so we are almost dead already, and this is pretty dangerous for me, because... Oh, god damn it, please rescue me before this dude kills me. Nope. Once you're down on the ground, you do have a chance to be revived. I thought I got killed by Der Clogger there, but it's actually Don Dogger. I don't know, that sounds like the name of like Jason Statham's character from a movie similar to, but not exactly the same as Crank. Well, I guess I'll just narrate what the hell is going to happen here then. Basically, if you played War of the Roses, it's very, very similar, and I'll talk about the changes between them, because I do think the changes between them make it a better game than War of the Roses, which is a game that I liked fairly well to begin with. Yeah, you know, you can swing with your mouse. It's not quite like Chivalry where, you know, mouse wheel forward will do like a stab, and then mouse wheel backwards, I think, would do the overhead strike. It's all controlled with like left mouse button and movement. So if you do like a swipe right to left, then that will allow you to do... Oh, we won the match there, so we're going to reload here. If you do a swipe right to left with your mouse button held down, and I'll talk about these coins later too, then you do like a right slash, and if you do left to right, then you do a left slash, and if you do up to down, then you do a downward slash. It depends on your weapon, obviously, but we'll head into the next battle here. Loading time is pretty good, as you will see. But yeah, I'll try not to die right off the bat there, so I actually get a chance to talk about it. There also is a... bandaging mechanic, which takes 6 seconds and bandages you all the way up to maximum health, but it's difficult to do because everyone and their dog spams arrows all the freaking time. By the way, if you're mad about that Steam overlay situation, that is an XSplit thing as well. So we'll play with Hit It Very Hard again. If you're not familiar with how pitched battle works, it's basically like Counter-Strike. As soon as someone dies, they're gone, and the last team standing actually wins. I guess it's more officially like last team standing. It's superficially exactly the same as Arena. The only thing is, Arena is on much tighter maps, and that's why I prefer it. Rounds, instead of lasting 3 minutes and, you know, having to deal with the clusterfuck of like 30 people, you only have to deal with what is typically a 4v4, and I think that makes it a lot faster and a lot tighter. I'm gonna get shot by like 1,000 arrows here. One of the big problems that I and other people had with War of the Roses, that X, oh, come the F on. One of the big problems that I and a lot of other people had with War of the Roses, as I try to bandage here, is that it really did seem like a lot of the time you would die, and then you would spend like 45 seconds... Who am I getting freaking shot by here? You would spend 45 seconds walking back into a battle. We're getting hit by something behind this tree, which is crazy to me, but okay. Please rescue me. I guess he has the strongest arrows of all time. We can be revived, but... unless I'm protected during the revive, I'm probably going to get shot in the head and killed, as is often the case there. Yeah, but okay, one of the problems with War of the Roses, maybe I'll just take my ranged class next time so I can actually fight back. And before I finish that train of thought, I should say that, you know, ranged classes are annoying when you play as a melee class, and I've seen people online be like, they need to get rid of archers. There needs to be archers, because otherwise, like, the melee balance, the way it sort of seems to work in the 7 or 8 hours that I've played so far, is that the warrior class, or like quicker classes with daggers and shields and stuff like that, are very well suited to taking down archers, but not very well suited to taking down much heavier classes. And then the heavier classes are suited towards taking down warriors, but they're weak against archers because it takes them forever to get in there, and then vice versa. Archers are basically weak against anybody who gets up in their face. Now, yeah, I actually forgot what I was going to say there, but this round should be over relatively quickly. But yeah, one of the complaints takes you 45 seconds to get back into a battle after you die. That's kind of the way I feel about Team Deathmatch on the bigger maps in the game, although it is tighter than it was in War of the Roses. But Arena makes it much, much better. And there's going to be an oh, I thought that was an execution there. Nope, just arrows completely destroying everybody. But Arena makes it much, much better by making the map super, super tight. So, you know, it's best of 5 usually, so first person to 3 wins, and each round might take a minute, as opposed to like the 2.5 minutes that happens in a round like this. So, I'm not really a huge fan of pitched battle, but we'll take what we can get because we're playing fairly early on here. I would just like to actually get involved in some combat so that I could, you know, show off some of the mechanics of the game. But that's okay too, because this is fairly indicative of a lot of my experience with War of the Vikings. I'm not very good at the game, but I enjoy playing it, and I do think it's a very good kind of like... It's one of those games that has a low skill ceiling, or sorry, phrased incorrectly, a low skill floor, but also a high skill ceiling. Like, if you're playing against someone who's better than you, you're probably gonna get killed every single time. But it's pretty easy to just, like, you know, walk in there and just start hacking and slashing and at least helping your team do something here. So we actually won that round, and we got experience. Experience and coins are used for unlocking new weapons, new loadouts, and stuff like that. And some of the levels do provide you with weapons that are better than better than the weapons that you start with by default. We're gonna play as Scum City here, which is by far my most successful loadout. Let's actually just like try to do something. I feel like this is, every time I play like a medieval close quarters combat melee game, I'm always like, hey, I've been playing like 6 hours of this, let's check it out, and then I just get shot in the head like 10 times. Like in my Chivalry Deadliest Warrior video, it was like 20 minutes long, and I got 0 kills. I should probably stick close to my team, that might help me out a little bit. Yeah, like literally 0 kills, which was embarrassing for me, because I'm actually not that bad at that game, but on camera, I guess things have a tendency to change. So now that we actually have a chance to look at the interface, we have a stamina and a health bar, which are that white and green bar respectively that you can see. Let's see if we can get some shots in here. Doesn't look like we can see anybody. We're gonna do complete camping scum mode here, by the way. That guy decked out in red, that's a perk that you can have that allows you to tag enemy units. I didn't tag him, but someone else on my team tagged him, which is useful. So what I actually managed to hit him there. That feels good. The way that this meter works is that, you know, when you hold down the right mouse button, you start charging it up, and also look down the, whatever you would call it, the sights of, this. I don't know why, I saw inside of my own man's brain there for a second. That may be a driver issue on my end. Apparently, I'm having some serious concerns with my computer right now, but that's okay. You don't need to worry about that. I need to worry about that, like, extensively, because this is my livelihood. Oh, okay. When you get shot in the head, you have a tendency to not be as good at aiming as you used to be. I'm gonna get behind this hay here and try to bandage, because having health could mean the difference between life and death. Anyway, hold right mouse button, that charges up your shot, and then when it gets, the closer it gets to like the meter at the end, the closer your shot goes to actually where you're pointing. With reason, like you can't just shoot it across the like edges of the universe exactly straight. And also, once you get it to that level, you can't hold it charged for very long unless you have a very specialized perk. And perks do play a major role, and then they are kind of like Call of Duty-ized, and if that bothers you, then so be it, basically. That's something that you'll have to reconcile with yourself when it comes to deciding whether or not you're actually going to purchase the game. Which is $25 on Steam, by the way, that I should point out there. I kind of just want to let these guys fight it out. I'm pretty sure this is the last guy left on the enemy team. So here's an example, like swing right to left, that gives us that. Swing left to right, that gives us that. I think it's like basically what position your mouse is in, or what position you're looking in when you do it. There's also a special move that... Hey, I got him! Beautiful! There's also a special move that you can execute with each weapon by hitting the F key. So with our archer, if we have the axe equipped, that's like a spinning semicircle type thing. Back to perks. Perks, you can see here I have Jack of all trades. I don't remember what that does, but we can see. Medium armor reduces all damage, can use all weaponry. Both weapon slots count as primary. Okay. We also have Eagle Eye, which allows us to double our zoom when aiming. Strong Arm gives us 5 times longer that we can hold our shots at this maximum level. And then we have another one called Sure Shot. And what Sure Shot does is actually, you know, notice that it takes like maybe 2 or 3 seconds for our shot to charge all the way here, but we can hold it for quite some time because of that perk. Sure Shot then like halves the amount of time that it takes to actually draw all the way to max for 5 seconds after we land a ranged hit. So if we hit somebody in like the leg, then it's much faster for us to kind of get ready to shoot them again. So at least I achieved some success. Oh my God, don't go, this is the death tree. This is the death tree. We'll come back here and bandage. You can also bandage your teammates, or at least your squad mates. I'm not sure if you can bandage your teammates. The squad mechanics are, I feel, are a little bit unclear. But I'd say, you know, in my experience so far, you have about as much chance of a teammate bandaging you as you do of like actually, I don't know, quantum tunneling back 1,000 years in time to actually fight in this battle yourself. So I wouldn't necessarily rely on that as a major crux of your strategy. Now, one of the things that people are going to talk about with respect to War of the Vikings, and I know this because I see it in chat. I got him. I see it in chat all the time. Is you know, why is there like a delay, or why does it seem like shots that should hit don't hit, etc., etc. Part of that is just endemic to the game, and you know, that hit him in the armor, I guess, or the shield, so it didn't do any damage. With anything like this where You know, it's different than a first-person shooter, let's put it that way. If something just hit scans or something like that, and you don't actually necessarily see the bullets flying until the kill cam actually comes out, then it's just like, it's like a math thing, right? And you don't necessarily know that you didn't hit them, but the game counted it as a hit because of, you know, the way it handles latency and stuff like that. This is our special move, by the way. We didn't get to hit him there because he actually interrupted our attack. But yeah, in a game like this in particular, you know, you can actually see what happens. I got the last kill again. I'm probably the greatest player of War of the Vikings that I could possibly imagine. But it's more obvious when there's like latency things, and I think that's what causes it. I don't think the game is made poorly. I think I'm playing on a London server right now, so sometimes it looks like you're not necessarily hitting them in the face with your axe, or sometimes it looks like you hit them in the face with your axe, but they don't fall down. They hit you instead. I think that's just kind of one of those inevitabilities with netcode in a game like this. It happens in Chivalry too, don't tell me it doesn't. I've got like 20 or 30 hours of Deadliest Warrior, and there's times when I'm like, I did not hit him, but I got the kill. On my screen, I didn't hit him. On the server side, I guess I did. But anyway, it's just one of those things you have to deal with. And yes, does it look a little silly? It does look a little silly in a game like this more than in a first-person shooter or something like that, because it looks kind of like you just like swung and hit the air and cut his throat somehow. But it is a lot better the lower your ping is, and we're playing on a server that I think is based in London right now. My ping's like almost a fifth of a second, like 20% of a second. That makes a difference in a game like this where a swing is maybe only half a second. So it's noticeable, but that's not you know, that's a problem with, you know, matter and energy taking time to transport, I think, more than anything else. So I think we're gonna go with the spear this time, just to demonstrate like a diversity of weapons. The spear handles a little bit differently. Obviously, you have a range advantage with it. And just melee in general. Oh god, that was terrible, and I'm gonna die. I'm really bad with the spear. Maybe I'll try to go back to like a warrior class with a shield or something like that. But the melee attacks do work kind of similar to the ranged attacks in a way, where you actually do charge them up with like the right analog stick, and then it makes a very nice kind of like, you know, sword unsheathing sound to tell you that you're at max damage. So, not all swings are created equal. Not only is it like if you hit someone in the face, you do more damage than if you hit them in the leg, most of the time at least. The more your shot is charged, the better you will do, or the more damage you will do over time. This execution system, or, you know, the fact that you can revive people who have been knocked down, is something that, it makes the game different. And I don't know if I feel positively or negatively about it. You might be saying, oh, it makes it too easy in a round like this. You can tackle, by the way. I think that's what happened there. Yeah, that guy's got some good skills. If someone's running away from you, you can tackle them and knock them to the ground. Weirdly enough, I think that, yeah, the blue player might have had the advantage there, except for the fact that he's super outnumbered. Yeah, there's the tackle again, and then he'll probably get chopped up in the face right here. And you can do friendly damage. We do have somebody else here. But yeah, it's weird, because you might, at first blush, suggest that it makes things too easy, right? To be able to, like, bring people back to life. But most of the time, enemies are really vigilant about getting those executions, so they'll make sure that, you know, your teammates don't get up, or if you're on the ground, it's probably like a 10% chance that somebody actually gets you up, in my experience. Which is cool. The only thing that bugs me is when, like, you and your teammates kill a dude, and then they end up doing damage to you. We'll try playing as, just default warrior here, because that's the only class I have with a shield. The archer has a shield, but weirdly enough, because I have, like, 2 primary weapons already, he can't use it, which I think is a little bit unclear, but the shield actually will still protect your back in that situation, so I figured why not take it. But yeah, you know, it is annoying, but that's not necessarily the game's fault, but it's frustrating when dumb idiots basically cause you to take damage, because you can't destroy that, by the way. It's frustrating when dumb idiots cause you to take damage just from, oh, there we go. So we'll try to kill this guy, get the execution done, and execution's a little funky sometimes. Oh, I'm dead. I am going to die here. It was fun while it lasted. By the way, again, yeah, there was no chance for me there, but at least I got 1 kill, unless he's been taken back to life. By the way, if you see like occasional frame skips and stuff like that, I'm not totally sure if that's the game or if that's my whatever's going on with my computer right now, which absolutely needs to be taken care of ASAP. It's also the same reason I'm recording with XSplit right now, but in any case, yeah. So it's weird. I hate friendly fire. I like it when, you know, your teammates are not being mindful of their swings when you're fighting an enemy, because that seems like, that rewards, you know, patience and having a lot of skill, and not just flailing, instead choosing to use like a left strike when a right strike would actually cut your teammate on the way. But it is kind of silly at the end when everyone's like, oh, free XP, and then they just knock them down. Do we have anybody involved in combat here? And that's partly maybe a consequence of the way that the game handles the XP system, where whoever deals like the execution blow gets more XP. That being said, I do think it handles better than War of the Roses, just because it actually separates like its currency from its experience. And the currency system is weird. Let's talk about the currency system. Is this the only person on our team left? Torabin did a good job there. I guess we can't see the enemy team just in case we could, well, we're dead. Ah, there we go. Good try anyway. But just in case it would allow us to tell them the enemy position. But anyway, the way that coins work is basically we have the system called Renown. You get coins for your performance in the game, basically. And then Renown, we'll hit it very hard here, maybe. It's not like I did much better on that last round anyway. I'm 1-2 though, which is not horrible. And you can see Renown goal failed there. I'm not totally sure what that means, but if you look in the bottom right, it says 14. That means we're the 14th level of Renown, and I believe that this works on like a 24-hour cycle. The more you play and the better you do during that performance, that applies a multiplier to the coins that you actually get. So right now, maybe I'll earn like 100, 200 coins per match. But because I played like 4 or 5 hours, 3 hours today, I'm not 100% sure. I gotta get out of here. There's too many archers. We'll just wait for them to come to us instead. And he's walked right into our trap. Our special move as the champion is not very good in my opinion. By the way, there is a dodge there you can see. I can use the alt key to make that happen. It's extremely important. Oh, don't get killed. Don't get killed. I'm gonna get killed. No, no. I've got throwing weapons too. That missed. That also missed. Come on, Den Dogger. We're both like so low on health. You know what? I could bandage him. Bandaging your teammates is super important because it takes half as much time. Alright, he's gonna go for me, but I dodged out of the way, and then Den Dogger got to finish the job. That felt pretty good, actually, so we might be able to bandage up and get back in here. But anyway, yes, for all the hours that I put in today, now I get like a 90% bonus to coins. So, I don't know if there is, like, in-game boosters. That's something we're actually gonna check out. Because it does have, you know, it was... I really, for a while, I thought this was gonna be free-to-play. And then I heard that it wasn't, but it's got these free-to-play trappings in it, right? And I don't mean trappings in a bad way, I just mean it as like shorthand for, you know, free-to-play things. Well, we can actually execute him pretty easily by just using our special, but I think he's actually going to get revived, unfortunately. Yeah, and I'm going to be killed. And the executions look a little, you know, silly sometimes also. You know, people just like standing over a body and then just like, huh, I missed, huh. But that's, again, something that's rewarded by skill. I don't think it's a perfect game. As much as I've tried to defend War of the Roses, it's not even necessarily a game that needs defending. It's just, it's worth kind of dealing with some of the criticisms. There's our Renown bonus. So we basically double our coins per match, which is cool. By the way, it's not bad with respect to its coins either. Like, we got 200 coins roughly for that match. That would buy us like one basic weapon. That would buy us like a spear. And why don't we actually exit out here? I think I have to click the next battle button first. But yeah, we'll leave the battle, and then I'll show you the loadout editor, and you can see what's going on there. So that's the basic gameplay of War of the Vikings, and that's the gameplay on like the worst mode. If I had one complaint about War of the Vikings right now, or the biggest complaint, because I have more than one complaint, but if I had one complaint, it's that, you know, a lot of people are playing pitch battle, a lot of people are playing team deathmatch. Team deathmatch is fine, it's just, you know, it's casual, basically, which is fine, it's a lot of fun, but I really like the permadeath style of pitch battle, but it works so much better, in my opinion, in arena. And in fact, we might actually be able to sneak into this no ping limit arena here, and that would be better for me, because we might not get another chance to do that. So we'll sneak into this server even though our ping is terrible and we'll probably die, but at least you'll get a chance to see what I think is by far the best mode in War of the Vikings, and the mode that I'm gonna go back to all the time. Did I get kicked from the server? No, okay, that's fine. Let's auto join. Doesn't totally matter what squad we're in. I haven't fully sussed out the squad mechanics yet, and now we should actually get a chance to make our melee character actually do some damage, believe it or not. We have a terrible ping, but that's okay. Most people, I think, like, my complaint about there only being European servers at, like, 10:30 a.m. on a Tuesday in Pacific time is going to probably fall on deaf ears, because most people are, you know, not going to be playing War of the Vikings there. Or then, I should say, except on, like, a Saturday. So let's run a little bit. Defend me, my friend. Thank you very much. I got into a terrible spot there. And I'm going to try to hit him with some of these throwing weapons. There are various throwing weapons. Not just the axes that I'm using. There's knives. There are people throwing axes. He got hit with a projectile, but it didn't actually. Oh yeah, we rule. He got hit with a projectile, but it didn't do as much damage, I think, because he had Brawler, or maybe Brawler is a perk that it gives him a damage boost when we deal damage to him. I'm not totally sure. So come on up, buddy. You can pick up your. I'm gonna try to bandage my teammate here. Where you at, dog? I'm gonna help. Stop moving! Alright, well, if you're just gonna keep moving, then that's okay. By the way, the flaming arrows, that's an archer perk, as you might expect. Again, like, not only is it that your teammates won't bandage you, but additionally, it does seem a little bit like, your teammates never want to be bandaged by you. I'm gonna try to revive him here. So if he just doesn't hit us, we'll be able to revive him. So he's gonna have to run in and be, like, super aggressive about it. There we go! I actually managed to get all 3 kills that round. Oh, there's 4 people on their team. I managed to get 3 of 4 kills that round, so I feel pretty good. I do think the melee feels totally alright. I think it feels like as good as Chivalry, but it's a different style of game than Chivalry. It really is, even though they have these superficial differences, or these superficial similarities. They're set in similar eras, etc., etc. This feels a lot more like, almost like tactical to me, if that makes sense. I don't know how to put it. Maybe I just prefer, like, third-person gameplay to first-person gameplay because it's easier to visualize what's happening. But your mileage may vary. I named Deadliest Warrior, like, my 3rd favorite expansion pack or whatever of 2013 in that, like, award series that I did. I really do like Deadliest Warrior. I've played a ton of Chivalry for things like subscriber streams in the past. I'm not going to be able to revive my teammate, and I feel kind of guilty about it. Let's try one special. It's basically like a Hail Mary attack like that. If you crack him over the skull, it kills him instantly. So we gotta kind of get... Oh, that's bad. Let's try it again. You can cheese it a little bit. They're gonna come in. Oh, I'm super aggressive. Oh, I'm dead. Yeah. So I lost the match for us there, but also I did go 4-1, and the rest of my team went 0-4, 0-5, so I don't feel too bad about that. And we'll do one more game of Arena, or one more match of Arena, because I really genuinely think the game shows off best in Arena, and we'll, then we'll move to the Loadout editor, and then we'll probably call it quits. But yeah, if you can get into an Arena game, it's by far the most fun, in my opinion. And loading times go totally fine, plenty of maps, stuff like that. So yeah, let's talk about some of the complaints that I have about War of the Vikings. Servers, it's not really Paradox's fault, I guess, but the servers that I see are running game modes largely that I don't really like. I think it's kind of a symptom of Arena only hosting 8 players and there only being X number of servers. They're like, well, how can we get as many people into the game as possible? Well, we'll put them on Team Deathmatch with 24 or Pitch Battle with 32 or something like that. But 4v4 Arena is really where the game shines the best, I think, and where, you know, I don't see this necessarily becoming an esport or something like that, but if I was to watch much gameplay of this, that would be the mode that I would want to watch gameplay of, because I think it's the most interesting of all of them. There we go. That was really easy. Did we lose some people there? I mean, they only have 2. Okay. Yeah, I think it shines best in this mode for sure, and it moves fast, as you can see. And that's what I like, because I really hate... What's happened to me a lot in those pitch battle especially is that there will be like 3v1, and then one guy will be like, 1v1 me, 1v1 me, and then they're like, on guard, I am Lord Northernlion of the 4th wall, and then they start being like, oh, unhand me, knave, and I'm like, oh, dude, I get it, and it's cool that you're an enthusiast, but I just want to play this video game, and it would be cool if I can, but what could be like a 2-minute round turns into a 3-minute round because of this, like, weird medieval posturing that, you know... Anyway, I like Arena because you can still 1v1, but you're, like, right next to the person, which means they are probably not going to stand a great chance of being able to stall too much. There we go. We are just tearing these dudes apart. And this is the danger. I mean, you can get to a situation where you spend like 20 seconds on a loading screen and then only 2 minutes on the level itself, but I still do think Arena is by far the best. Anyway, complaints about War of the Vikings. From what I can tell on Steam, it's weird because I've had the game for so long, I'm not sure how the store page is actually working for it. It's 25 bucks, and that's fine, but it is expensive. War of the Roses was up there too, though. I think War of the Roses might have been 30 when it originally came out. And, you know, it is worth noting that its direct competitor Deadliest Warrior, I believe, is 15. Again, I hate to take a stand on pricing issues like that, because I'm not... Oh, that was a great throw, even though it looked a little silly. I'm not a biz dev guy. I don't know how that works. If you're willing to pay 25 bucks for it, don't let me sway you. But it does seem maybe a little expensive, although I could see you getting, you know, 25, 30 hours out of this, bare minimum. I got 30 hours out of War of the Roses, and I didn't even think it was that good. I liked it, but I didn't think it was amazing or anything like that. So, you know, but this is not a novelty, is basically what I'm trying to get at. You're not spending 10 bucks on Goat Simulator because you want to play as a goat. This is actually like a fully fleshed out multiplayer game that totally also works. That's not a shots fired to Goat Simulator. It's just like, you're not buying this for its superficiality, if that makes sense. You're not buying this for like a gimmicky reason. Or at least, I don't think you have to. So we'll exit Arena here. There are also other versions of the game. You can buy like the Blood Eagle edition, you can buy a 4-pack. Those are increasingly expensive. I believe the Blood Eagle edition might come with EXP and coin boosts. One of the complaints I guess I could offer is that it is a little, not scummy at all, but it's a little unfortunate, I think, that I have to kind of grind out coins for quite some time to get weapons that I want. But I guess it's a good thing as well to, you know, you really, if you see somebody using a great weapon, then you know that they've sunk in the time. That being said, I'll show you what I mean by that here as we move along. Again, I think I started at level 1 because they wiped, like, the early access progress. So I've gotten to level 13 in maybe 3 or 4 hours. That's given me, probably at this point, like 3,000 coins, and I've just spent a lot of them. Let's see what you can buy with 3,000 coins if we go on, like, our custom character, or, like, our last class here. So if you had 3,000 coins, you could buy, well, you could buy some of these weapons if you leveled up a little bit further. And it is cool how there's, like, different, let's put it this way. They did their due diligence. The developers did their due diligence when it comes to the weaponry in the game. You know, these are different kind of like duchies or counties in England, and I believe that these swords would probably be period friendly, or like whenever they told us anything about the game, they're like, yeah, we're doing our research. I'm inclined to agree. And the weapons actually do have, like, they don't have visible sliders, but if you read the descriptions, there are differences between them. So Stained Longsword, it basically says it's sharp, doesn't look like anything. This is your basic sword. For 620 coins, you can... Let me see here. The sword is capable of delivering lethal gut rippings, hobbling leg strikes, and crowd-pleasing decapitations. In the wrong hands, it will only slow the wielder down in his cowardly flight from the battlefield. That tells me, without actually putting a slider on the screen, that this makes you slower if you're sprinting. Maybe especially if you're sprinting away, but maybe it has a little bit more power or, you know, swing speed versus the Stained Longsword. Or what about the Nother? I'm not sure. It means adder in Old Norse, and this exquisite blade will supposedly instill the wielder with the quickness of said serpent. So maybe it makes your swing speed much faster. Truth be told, I would prefer if that was just, like, clearly visually displayed with some kind of slider or some kind of, like graph or something like that, like a lot of games do. Chivalry, Deadliest Warrior does that, by the way. But that being said, it's still kind of cool that there are differences. I don't know if that means that this sword is substantially better than the sword that is, like, first in the tech tree. That being said, you know, it's cool that there are big upgrades here. But keep in mind, if you want 6,000 coins, that is going to take you a long freaking time to get. That's going to take you maybe like 12 hours. So you've earned it if you get it. But they do look cool. Like, look at the hilt on this one versus, like, the hilt on that one. Yeah? I mean, if you don't see a difference, then I disagree with you. So there's other things, like, you know, we could buy ornamental throwing knives. You know what? We could nearly buy common throwing knives for the amount of time that we've put in here so far. Is that a tall order? Yeah, I think that's a high asking price in terms of your time to unlock stuff. But I guess by the time you get it, you will be, like, very pleased with what you've gotten. You can also use your coins to buy things like perks. Perks are typically 250 or 400, I suppose. And there's different ones depending on what you need. They're like all-around perks, melee perks, or ranged perks. Ranged perks pretty effective. Also very cheap, and those are the things that'll give you the best extra chance of winning in the game, minus, like, any differences in weapons for sure. You can also get new helmets. They're expensive. You can get new heads, eventually maybe, and cloaks. Cloaks are expensive too, and you can only get them starting at level 30. There is also, I think, beards are like the highest thing that you can actually buy, are the most expensive things that you can actually buy, and I really like that idea, because they give you no benefit other than showing other people on the battlefield that you have sunk in a lot of effing time, and I think that is really cool. That you can basically be like, yeah, here's how much I played this game. I played it so much that I can have this dope beard and, like, still, like, have good weapons and stuff like that. Like, I spent, it's like buying a yacht or something when you live in a landlocked country, right? You're like, yeah, I own a yacht, can't use it for anything important, but still, I got one. So I think maybe, like, if we buy this one here, maybe we can change the color too. Yeah, so the colors are also gated, so if you wanted, like, a huge gray beard, that would take you a long time to get. But anyway, I do like that. You can also edit your shield paint, which I'm not going to do because that's something that is not really in my wheelhouse. But in any case, this is War of the Vikings. I could easily see myself playing it for at least a little while longer. There's nothing really else dominating my multiplayer experience right now, and I think it's a lot of fun. If it was easier to get into arena games, I would find it easier to recommend. And 25 bucks is a premium price point for a game like this in this era. I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's the way it's seen from a public standpoint as well, so it helps to be fully informed of stuff like that. It's good. I like it better than War of the Roses. I know not everybody does, but I think they took a lot of feedback from War of the Roses about it being too sprawling and the squad mechanics being confusing and stuff like that, and really distilled it down to more, I don't want to say it's casualized, what I do want to say is it's more accessible than War of the Roses was, just because there's, you know, you don't spend 45 seconds riding a horse back into wherever the melee is actually taking place every time you die. So yeah, I would recommend it, with an asterisk, and that is that it's expensive, and I don't think you're going to be playing it 2 years from now. And are there free games on Steam that you could play for 2,000 hours? Yes. That being said, I think War of the Vikings is a good experience. I've liked what I played of it. I think it's improved upon the War of the Roses formula, and I could see myself playing it casually in the future. So that's what I'll say about that. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you want to pick up the game on Steam, there will be a link to the base edition of the game in the store, or in the video description below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I will see you next time.